Hi, my name is Jessica. I'm a third-year graduate student in interaction and industrial design. So what you've got around the room are a lot of my projects that I've culminated throughout the years of me being here at Purdue. So over here on this wall, I have kind of like the background of me getting into industrial design. I did my undergrad here at Purdue for animal sciences, so this was kind of my introduction into how the materials and processes work. Industrial design has a lot of hard skills. You have to do modeling, you have to do handcraft, and we do a lot of like 3D printing and form making. So some of the projects that we worked on, we started with a basic concept of like, this one was just to create a candy dish. And then we go through a lot of iterations of your ideas of, okay, what kind of shapes and forms would you like? Something that I really gravitated to was to have like the idea of candy kind of catching in these little like areas. But the trouble is like vacuum forming as a process is kind of, it can be difficult, so you have to get like, there are certain processes that you have to be aware of so things don't get stuck or things don't like break off. So for the final design of the candy dish, I used Illustrator to make a pattern and then kind of sculpt it. And we have individual pieces that we vacuum formed and then arranged in a dish that fits all together. So there's a lot of processes that like, I think they all add together. At first when I was designing, I was like, oh, this is going nowhere. Like all of these designs are so different. But you can see a lot of the similarities in the old designs that show up in the new design. So it was a really fun project to like kind of see the building of ideas and iterations and how things change over time and how important your process is. Something that you started at the beginning might not seem very important, but this divot, showed up kind of at the end as well. So it's kind of fun way to think about design. On this side, I don't know how you guys see, but on this side I have another project that I really liked, which was the ice cream scoop. It was another one that had a lot of process. I think for me, I really just liked the iteration process and exploring like different shapes and forms. So this was one that we started with cardboard and then moved on to foam. And then I actually found the final design by accident because I accidentally shaved off too much. And it ended up giving the ice cream soup kind of like a twist at the inside the middle part. From viewing it, it doesn't really look like much, but it's really nice, like a hand feel, and it works with both hands. So ergonomically, that accident worked out really, really well. In the first initial accident, I tested a couple different more scoop sizes and also like twist sizes, and to see which is more fits better. And so part of the design process is also just like you make mistakes and it's okay, and you can use it as like a building block to have future projects. So this was also a really fun one to do. All of these projects I did in like the first 1.5 years when I was here, and then I also worked at Delta. So after like my first 1.5 years, I got an internship at Delta Faucet Company, which is on that wall over there. So there's a little bit of a setup here where it's my projects. Like on the left is kind of all the projects that I worked on, and then on the right is the process, and also one of the designs that came out. The main one, the center set, the one that's kind of on the pedestal, that's designed by Simon Elsler. He was also an intern, but he ended up moving and working at Dick's Sporting Goods for a while, and then he came back to Delta. But at the time, he wasn't working with us, so they wanted to expand the collection to single handles, wide spreads, like shower handles. And so I got to work on his design to expand out all of it. So using his design language to create something new. And so this was something that on the bottom shelf, you can see there's a plastic resin model and then a plated model, so it's like metal plated on top. And then at the sink is a real model. So they were kind enough to give me 2 models, like real working ones. So it's like really exciting to see something that you design kind of make it out into something that's like tangible. And something that I really liked about making these designs was creating smooth, fast, like tangent surfaces. So even for here, if you get up close, you can see that this is all just one surface. So it's just kind of like small details that were kind of exciting to play with. And all of these as well. This is the same model, but different plating. I really liked exploring the idea of having like a tangent surface, which designing it was like a pain in the butt, but it looks kind of fun at the end. It catches the light in a really fun way. So those were my Delta projects. On this side is more of my grad projects. I have two projects here. The first one was about empowering like individuals who are visually impaired to cook. So it goes through kind of the design research side of things, and then there was a group project with Yueling and Cushing. So we worked on making like the app and how the app interacts with a smart lid. So the lid is about if you connect it with the Yumly app, which has recipes. So you connect it to a recipe, and then it loads in like a specific temperature and instructions, and then you kind of just tap on it, and then it measures the temperature and cooks. So there's a user flow about how users interact with the lid and interacts with the app to be like a cohesive system. So over there, over there is our project that we did with GE. The project was about working with surface cleaning, and we found through our research that windows are just a pain in the butt to clean. They got a lot of grooves, they got a lot of cracks in them, and there's just so many of them in your house. So the idea was to create an all-in-one cleaner that you can see the water kind of, you spray the water out on the window, and then you can see like a clear water tank and like a dirty water tank. So there's two sides. You can see the clear one going down and the dirty one going up. So it gives you like a satisfaction of seeing, oh, I'm cleaning my windows. It's, getting done. And it's also really quick because it includes a vacuum in it. So that was this project. Over in the center is the Rijksmuseum project. So this one was about, Rijksmuseum is a art museum that's in the Netherlands. And they have a huge collection of different artworks. And in 2020, they hosted a competition to see what we could do to their artworks to make it like gift shop ready. So the idea that I had was to take kind of the background animals that are present in these paintings and make them the focus. Because oftentimes the humans are the focus and humans are okay, but animals are great. And so what could we do to make those animals really shine? So I went to Photoshop and just erased, the animals out of their paintings, and then kind of inserted them into a pillow. So the project was called Embrace Art. It was just a way for you to like take something that was 2D and kind of be able to, embrace it, yeah, to like interact with it. I thought this cow looked kind of silly, so that's why I picked this one. But there's a couple different ones kind of spread around the room. And I also have this horse blanket that's like in the front. Some of them were really fun to work with because you could still see the original like painting in them. Like this guy has his leg still there, which is like, it's just a fun way to interact with the art. So that leads me to the final wall, which is my thesis. So my parents sell medical devices, and I really grew up living in that office. So I got to experience a lot of, what do medical devices look like? How do you sell them? How do you package them? And so the original idea for my thesis was it bounced around between memories and food, and there's a lot of abstract ideas that I had trouble, making concrete. And it was actually during a class with TJ, it was a class we had last semester that we were supposed to make an app for a small company. And we had two companies. One was was a residential, and then one was another one. And then they kept dropping out on us. And then I had one of them said, oh, why don't you, do you have a small business, that you know of that you could help? And so I was like, oh, well, my parents have a small business. Maybe that's something that I could use as a foundation to create this app idea. So I worked, this is also another group project. It was with Yulu and Mirami, who was she's in the UX in the Polytechnic school. So we did some of the background research to develop a medical supply network. So the idea is that medical supplies, there's a little bit of a gap between how it's bought and how it's sold. So the idea was to create a network where all buyers and all sellers create their own accounts, and now they have like a social, almost like a social network where they can communicate and buy things from each other. The way that medical supplies are currently being sold is being sold from a manufacturer to a distributor to sales representatives, and then eventually they trickle down into the businesses, which is like hospitals and little clinics, small clinics. So we had a couple of research sections where we analyzed the market growth. So it's expected to grow by 5.5% every year to be up to 718 billion in 2019. So it's a really big market, all different types of medical devices. And how are they being sold? Email and fax and in person. It's a really big problem because it's just not a very efficient way when you're dealing with life-saving devices. So the idea of this project was, how can we make this, a bit more modern, kind of push things forward? And so the design synthesis here was like, how do buyers and sellers interact to buy products? And so the project here is the network in between. So MedSupply is like a network that's connecting manufacturers who are sellers and buyers who are like medical businesses. So the next couple of projects or posters here are kind of describing each section. So I have we'll start with the buyer because that's the kind of where we started. Here there's the hierarchy of, if there's a page, how do each of the pages work? So there's pages about, this is where the products would be, this is what each product page would look like. And then like if you put it into your cart, what it would look like, here's your order history, and then like if you message a manufacturer. So the messaging is really important because if everything is being communicated by email, you have separate emails that are doing separate things, and sometimes you lose an email and you forget who you messaged and you can't find the message anymore. So to keep it all in one cohesive network, it makes things a lot more efficient, and it also strengthens business relationships. This side is directly related to the seller side. So on the seller side, manufacturers who are selling have to receive orders, and they also have to be able to manage and make sure that they have all of the products in each package and to send out to people. So this side was the thesis that I worked on with my committee to create a whole system if that's a website, this is more like of an application. So the application is to help kind of facilitate all of the nitty-gritty stuff that sellers have to deal with. This side of the website is more like customer acquisition. You acquire customers, you have them, you guys can buy from here, it's so much easier. But here is like the more difficult part, where this is the stuff that's like you work on different programs, and you have to manage your inventory, you have to manage your calendars, all this stuff. So the seller side of this app was really to kind of condense everything down to have something that's a little bit easier. You can automatically see if someone has paid their things. If they're late, you can go, chase them down. Or if there's a delay in the package, you automatically know. You don't have to go find FedEx website. You don't have to find the postal office. Everything is kind of contained in one. And additionally, it's also the communication side of things is also consistent. On the physical product side, there was a couple of different variations with products. All of these were in tandem to helping sellers kind of manage their logistics inside of their small businesses and small warehouses. So the first one was like, oh, if there was a box that, if your boxes are too big or they're too small, you just have a lot of packing material. What if there was a box cutter that, kind of cuts your boxes to size? They have really big industrial cutters, but there's not really anything that's for small scale like this. The second idea was a digital interface that could help you organize. So if you know all of your package's dimensions, here you would enter your dimensions, length, width, height, and weight. If you knew all of those, AI could definitely help you find a way to package those with the existing boxes that you have to have perfect fit. The last one was a scanner that had an interface that connected with back to the purchase order pages. Excuse me, and then you would use that and go to the warehouse, scan your things, scan your items, and make sure that you have all of the correct numbers packaged neatly so you don't miss anything, you don't have too much of anything, and you get business and you earn money. That's my thesis. And then TJ also entered us into a conference, which we won third bronze award for, so it's very exciting. Yeah, that's all. But thank you guys. Is there you guys have any questions? Yeah.
Where are you currently working at?
I'm currently working at Purdue as a teaching assistant for AD 105, Section 38. Yeah. Yeah. You don't know your section? Oh. Yeah. Yeah. So, any other questions? Could be about any projects. Doesn't have to be about thesis. Anything?
Which one's your favorite?
My favorite? I think after I redid these pillows, they are definitely like up there because I think just being physical and being able to it's more tangible. I think seeing it come to life was really exciting. Yeah. Any other questions? No. All right, there are cookies outside at Capri Suns. Thank you guys so much for coming and listening to me talk. Yeah, it was great. Okay, thanks.